One of Australia's senior Catholic archbishops is the latest person to have issues with a potential COVID-19 vaccine. Anthony Fisher, the Archbishop of Sydney, as well as officials from Greek Orthodox and Anglican churches, have written a letter to Prime Minister Scott Morrison venting their concerns. Their worry is whether a vaccine would be ethical. Many vaccines use cells from electively aborted fetuses, and it appears that AstraZeneca, the company the Australian government has a letter of intent with, will utilise that material. However, in a confusing statement, Fisher also said it would not be unethical if no other alternative was available, but he is deeply troubled by it. Ben, what do you think? What's your personal belief when it comes to creating the vaccine? Look, it's obviously icky to use fetuses and things like that, but we are after a vaccine, right?
I think we are after a vaccine, and I think it is above my pay grade just a little bit once I get into how that is going to be made. I think AstraZeneca is trying to do the right thing to look into this. I'd like to probably see that information a little bit more clearer about what they're saying about those baby fetuses being a part of it. Like, I don't actually have that information in front of me, and maybe I haven't done my research. But look, I think we're looking for a vaccine. We don't have one yet.
The question is, Ben, at what point do we let religious beliefs hold us back from getting a vaccine?
Well, I don't think that sits in my... I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest with you, when it comes to religion. I mean, religion's not necessarily a factor in my mind at this point.
Robert, what about you?
But I guess religion is a massive thing to a lot of people. I think this is just classic religious hypocrisy and against science. Look, other vaccines, as you mentioned in your intro there, Rob, are made from the cells of elected aborted fetuses. Now, that is just, the thing. If you don't want the vaccine, then don't get it. But in this day and age, when our livelihoods have changed and, we're being locked down, I think it borders on irresponsible for heads of churches to come out and say that that they're deeply troubled by it. However, and you even said this again, sorry to keep repeating your intro there, Rob, but it is, at the end, he then does that confusing statement of saying, oh, well, if there's nothing, it's not unethical if there's no other alternative. Well, what is it? We don't have the time to look through every single possibility. If there's a vaccine that's made for the global population, or the Australian population, then I think that's important that people identify whether they want to take it or not because it's unethical or things like that. It's classic hypocrisy of this thing. Another little fact for you, really quickly, was that the Vatican actually came out and said that vaccines were not unethical, and just because you took a vaccine that actually used cells from a aborted fetus doesn't mean that you support or condone abortions.
And so look, let's be honest,
the Vatican's already come out and said
beliefs
that.
have always played a part in scientific ethics. Like, we don't clone. Cloning is outlawed because of the ethical concerns around creating life.
Well, there's a big argument as well. It's a long argument that basically, if the church didn't have as much power in the Renaissance period and didn't stymie scientific, exploration and experiments, then we might be even further ahead technically.
You mean we could have teleporters right now?
But it's a long ethical-based argument that it was because if you remember, when a lot of science had to happen in those really early, wonderful days. It had to happen in secret. If you were found out, the church, got you and prosecuted you and things like that.
Even the
that's another massive
of bodies, to find out how bodies worked, always had to be done in secret because
that's right.
It wasn't allowed. Look, I want to move on because just a little note here. Reports out of Hong Kong are saying a man was reinfected with a different strain of COVID-19. His second infection came more than 4 months after his first. However, this time he displayed no symptoms. This has led doctors to believe his immune system, having already experienced the virus, was able to keep it at bay. There have been presumed reinfection cases in other parts of the world, but none have been confirmed with rigorous testing. I think that's quite fascinating.
It's the Ben, Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and Robbo Show.